Hey, West Ottawa. So this video is going to be about creating passages in Illuminate. So a passage is any type of stimulus that you want students to be able to view while they're answering a question. So whether it's a reading or a map or a video or whatever the case may be, all of those are considered passages. When you're creating your tests, you always want to create the passage first, because when you create an item, which is a question, it part of creating the item, it will ask you what passage, if any, you want to attach that item to. Obviously, if you haven't created the passage yet, then it won't exist. So you always, so like as an example, it's listed here as item and then passage. If it were me, I would have these two flipped around just because you want to create your passages first. So you're going to select passage and you're going to click next. You have two different types, so you can actually create passages in which there are, a pair of readings that show two different viewpoints on a subject. You can give two different images you want to look at. For this purpose, we're going to create a single passage. I'm just going to say that this is going to be a test image, just giving it a name. You'll hit save and continue. Um, and then come down here. I have a map already picked out. So this button right here is where you're going to upload an image. So you click on that, choose a file. You're going to select your image and click open. US map. You want to give it a name. And I'm going to show you in a minute. There's a way to not have this show up when the kids are taking the test. So you're adding the name in there, so that way when you go to search for it, it's easier to find. But like as an example, we created a test in U.S. history where the image was a plane spraying Agent Orange. Well, so I could find it, I labeled it Agent Orange plane. And then the question had something to do with what is this plane spraying? And the title of the image is showing up on top of the test the first time we administered it, saying Agent Orange. So they've now added a feature that allows you to not post that, and you're just going to want to make sure that's checked. So you'll click save, and then click on to the next one. So anytime it's green, that means you're all set. So now with the passage details, as you can see, they're all optional. Um, the best thing that I can tell you with regards to this is the more detail that you add, the better you will be able to tailor your data and your results. So this is just asking who you want to have access to your passages. So by selecting West Ottawa, anyone that has a West Ottawa email or Illuminate account would be able to access this particular passage. That's typically the one I choose. I always choose that it's available for paper and web. Meaning they can take it online or in paper. This will obviously be different if you were to use something like a video as a passage. That would obviously be only or web only. All of these here, you can see passage category. Where does it fit? Sub passage, what type of passage? All of these different things. Lexile score, word count. These are all things that you can add in terms of details that will better detail your data. Having said that, it can also add a lot of time to building the test. So as a PLC, have that discussion, decide how detailed you want to go. This is that place where, no, I do not want the name of the passage or the section titles to be displayed. That way I don't have that issue. Anytime I create a passage, I always add, so if this is part of the Unit 2 visual analysis test, actually, I'm going to call it Unit 10 so it doesn't add a tag that I don't already have. So this allows me, again, to search based on the unit test to find that. So again, I'm going to click Save. I'm going to go on to the preview. You can see exactly what it looks like. Looks good. So then I'm going to jump forward. And again, just like with the assessments, if you don't publish the passage, so I'm going to click Publish. If I don't publish it, if I'm going to create an item and I create that item and I go to attach I want to attach a passage to that item. If I haven't published my passage, it will not. It won't show up. I won't be able to do that. So always make sure you publish. Once you've done that, you can come back to items. You can go into my passages. and you will see that your piece shows up right here. And you will also see that it shows up whether it's published or not. So just because it shows up here, because there's a no here, it means you would not be able to attach an item to that passage. But you can also see there's the edit function here that I can still go in and edit this demo passage that I was working on earlier, and still still make some edits to it. Because once it's published, you have to create a duplicate or a revision that basically creates a whole new passage. So make sure you're all done with all your details and all those things before you publish, but make sure you publish when you're done.